Aquarius, Spirit is trying to remind you to stop placing past problems into current situations. Stop placing past expectations onto current situations. And if not you, then it is someone around you that is talking all this X and continuing this whole line of well, in the past you did this and you did that and you hurt me this way, you hurt me that way. It's not about that. Like, we all grown here. It's like, it's not about where you put your draws, where had maybe made mistakes in the past, slept with other people, or maybe this person slept with other people. It's not about that shit no more. I feel like we talking to a whole crowd of like, this has been going on for like 10 years, and I feel like this is just exhausting. It's tiring. It's like people who you associated with in the past, they no longer are relevant to your story or who you are as a person today. That's what you need to solidify. That's what you need to break the code, like crack the cycle of that. Because that's kind of, at this point, it's wearing thin on you, and it's wearing thin on the people who care about you. And if you feel like nobody cares about you, that's what they're saying, and that's not true. There are people who care about you, but this is really wearing heavy on someone's chest, someone's heart, to fully upright. Like, you can't you can't be so dismissive. Like, you can be dismissive and you can be cruel. I'm not saying you're incapable of that, but I'm saying, like, in the crux of all these issues and problems that are happening in your life right now, you can't just turn a blind eye to the fact that some of your behavior contributes to whatever this is, right? You can't turn a blind eye to the fact that possibly you do have a little bit of I picked up on like worrying sickness, or like, maybe it's just massive amounts of anxiety. It's like pressure and anxiety, where almost like you're not even able to talk or communicate. They have the Seven of Pentacles, which is coming to terms with the past you, the past self. Who you were was not the greatest. Who they were was not the greatest. It's like I said, the wait period has been long enough where I feel like this stage of realization should be over. But I feel like for some reason internally it's not over for you. You can't end it for some reason. Four of Pentacles in the upright is you still hold on to past problems, past issues, things that someone has done to you in the past. It's not even about holding grudges at this point. This is just a very touchy subject in general. I feel like no matter who brings it up, how they bring it up, what they even mean to you, how they love you, it don't matter, because like the moment that they bring this whole area up, this raw spot, it's just, you already know, right? Now it's like, that's how you're going to react. Now if you can't handle how you're going to react appropriately, then you need to obviously communicate that this is something that bothers you. Maybe you never realized that this is something that bothers you, but that's something that you need to communicate. And Temperance in the upright to further put forward a balanced effort and to further heal. You're going to need to commune. Like, you just need that. You need to communicate to people. This is hard. This is a really hard chapter in your life, because I feel like you're scared, and these are really insanely old habits that you have you've created a whole entire narrative around, your whole entire life around, whatever these beliefs are. And that's just like, you just need to understand, like, this is it. This needs to end right now. Like, you can't keep playing detective. You can't keep trying to figure out if people are going to hurt you. If you suspect that people is going to hurt you, then you leave the situation wholly and entirely. If you have any feelings, any resentments, right, where if you're sitting here and constantly questioning yourself on whether someone is trustworthy or not, wouldn't that mean that you have an issue with their behavior, and that you need to either question it or you need to get it, move on, and stop holding yourself back and holding this person back, right? It's like, if this is called the question at all, and I feel like specifically for this week, if this is called into question at all, then someone needs to loosen the grip. Someone needs to walk away. Someone needs to stop being scared. Like, we all grown here. Like I said, who cares whose drawers was in whose room in the past? Who cares who was doing this and doing that? Like, this is to me trivial at this point, because this has been going on for so long. It's been dragged for so long. It's like, you shouldn't, like, it's still a raw spot, right? But you don't own the situation, you don't own who is able to do what at the end of the day. And that's what you need to come to terms with. Like, yeah, you've been hurt, but that doesn't mean you're a broken person. It doesn't mean you need to hold on to the schemes and the scams and you don't need to be jealous. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, it's valid to be, I guess, a little bit jealous of some people's situations working out, even though there's been tons and tons and tons of mistakes. But I also feel like there's definitely room for improvement on everybody's lives, and you need to kind of focus on your own. Keep your blinders on for your own life, and stop worrying about what everyone else is doing in response to, like, I'm gonna use this as an example. You know how everyone has their nose up Christian Rock's ass and Blueface's ass? It's like, that relationship is clout. It's clout nine, right? It's been like that from the beginning, and that's what we need to understand, is that just because something's being aired out online, just because something is public information, it doesn't mean that we have to feed into it and drone at it and hyperfixate. Because when you're hyperfixating, just notice that if you're hyperfixated on a relationship like that, like someone else's romantic relationship, 99% of the time it means you're not secure in your own, right? You're not secure in your own relationship. Like, these are problems that aren't even about to near your situation. Like, you're like, well, I went through the same thing with my baby daddy. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. You need to stop. That is the core problem, is hyperfixation on things that you won't admit to yourself, that are problems to you, that make you feel insecure. You won't admit them to your partners, and you sure as hell won't admit them to yourself. And that needs to stop. The pattern of whatever this is, it needs to stop.